Texas funeral home stabbing leads to grim discovery of decaying bodies. Imagine entrusting the care of your loved one's remains to a professional, only to discover they were left to rot in squalor. This nightmare became reality at Richardson Mortuary in Houston, Texas, where a stabbing incident unveiled a scene of unimaginable horror. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Richardson Mortuary in Houston, Texas is now the epicenter of a disturbing investigation. The discovery of 10 decaying bodies within its walls has sent shockwaves through the community. This grim scene was not uncovered through routine inspection, but rather a violent altercation. The bodies were reportedly covered in gnats, a testament to the unsanitary conditions within the facility. This horrifying discovery was triggered by a stabbing incident, an event that exposed the mortuary's shocking negligence. A funeral home worker allegedly stabbed a customer, setting in motion a chain of events that revealed the truth. The stabbing occurred after the customer began filming the appalling conditions inside the mortuary. This act of documentation, born out of concern and disbelief, ultimately brought the truth to light. The video footage would soon become crucial evidence in a case that has shaken the foundations of trust in the funeral industry. Tamara Magruder and her brother visited Richardson Mortuary with a simple, heartbreaking purpose: to check on their deceased mother. What they found was far from the peaceful repose they had hoped for. Instead, they were met with a scene of utter disrespect and decay. Upon approaching their mother's casket, they were immediately struck by the presence of gnats. This unsettling discovery prompted Magruder and her brother to begin filming the conditions, hoping to document the unacceptable state of the facility. Their actions would soon expose a much larger problem. The video captured bodies haphazardly placed on tables and gurneys, a stark contrast to the dignity and respect expected in a funeral home. Some bodies were wrapped in plastic, while others were partially uncovered, further highlighting the mortuary's blatant disregard for proper handling procedures. The lack of basic amenities only compounded the horror. The facility lacked air conditioning, exacerbating the decomposition process and creating an unbearable environment. The strong odor of decay, described as rotten blood, permeated the air, a constant reminder of the neglect and disrespect shown to the deceased. This sensory assault painted a vivid picture of the mortuary's deplorable conditions. The situation escalated when a funeral worker instructed the family to leave the premises. This demand came after Magruder and her brother began documenting the disturbing conditions they had discovered. Their refusal to comply led to a violent confrontation. The worker stabbed Magruder's brother when they refused to leave, an act of aggression that underscores the lengths to which the mortuary was willing to go to conceal its negligence. While the wound was minor, requiring the victim to drive himself to the hospital, the incident served as a catalyst for further investigation. Despite the violent nature of the incident, no charges were filed against the worker due to a claim of self-defense. This decision, while legally justifiable, does little to alleviate the outrage and grief felt by the families affected by the mortuary's actions. The focus now shifts to holding the mortuary accountable for its negligence. The video of the bodies quickly circulated on social media, becoming a viral testament to the mortuary's shocking negligence. This widespread exposure had a profound impact as other families began to recognize their loved ones in the footage. The digital age had inadvertently become a tool for uncovering the truth. Marita Brown identified her grandmother Bonnie Ashley in the video. Ashley was supposed to be cremated the previous month, raising serious questions about the mortuary's adherence to its contractual obligations. This discovery added another layer of betrayal to an already devastating situation. Demetrius Riley Sylvester also discovered her brother's body in the footage. Riley Sylvester believed her brother had already been cremated, further highlighting the mortuary's deceptive practices. The realization that her brother's remains had been left to decay in such a manner added immeasurable pain to her grief. The Texas Funeral Service Commission was immediately notified of the situation. This notification triggered an official investigation into the practices and conditions at Richardson Mortuary. The Commission's involvement marks a crucial step towards holding the mortuary accountable for its actions. Scott Bingaman, representing the Texas Funeral Service Commission, sent an inspector to investigate the mortuary. The inspector's findings would play a critical role in determining the extent of the mortuary's negligence and the appropriate course of action. The investigation focused on several key areas. The investigation specifically focused on the insect infestations and the lack of air conditioning, both of which contributed to the rapid decomposition of the bodies. These conditions violated basic standards of care and demonstrated a blatant disregard for the dignity of the deceased. The immediate priority was to rectify the situation. The bodies were transferred to other funeral homes with refrigerated rooms, ensuring that they would be treated with the respect and care they deserved. This transfer provided a temporary solution, but the long-term goal is to prevent such incidents from happening again. The owner of Richardson Mortuary could face serious consequences. The owner of Richardson Mortuary could face criminal charges, including abuse of a corpse. These charges reflect the severity of the mortuary's negligence and the profound impact it has had on the affected families. The legal proceedings will seek to provide justice for the deceased and their loved ones. The situation at Richardson Mortuary raises significant legal implications. Families have the right to seek justice for the mistreatment of their loved ones' remains. This could involve pursuing civil lawsuits against the mortuary for negligence, emotional distress, and breach of contract. The evidence gathered, including the video footage and official reports, will be crucial in building a strong legal case. Families may also consider seeking legal representation to navigate the complex legal process and ensure their rights are protected. The pursuit of justice is a long and arduous journey. Beyond individual lawsuits, there may be grounds for a class action lawsuit against Richardson Mortuary. This would allow multiple families affected by the mortuary's negligence to collectively seek compensation and hold the mortuary accountable for its widespread misconduct. Collective action can amplify the impact of individual grievances. The Texas Funeral Service Commission's investigation could also lead to disciplinary action against the mortuary, including suspension or revocation of its license. This would prevent the mortuary from operating and potentially protect other families from experiencing similar tragedies. Regulatory oversight is essential to prevent future negligence. The Richardson Mortuary case highlights a broader issue of funeral home regulation and oversight. Are existing regulations sufficient to protect the deceased and their families? This incident raises questions about the effectiveness of current enforcement mechanisms and the need for stricter standards. Many states have relatively weak regulations governing funeral homes, making it difficult to detect and prevent negligence. Increased funding for inspections, stricter licensing requirements, and more robust enforcement mechanisms are needed to ensure that funeral homes adhere to ethical and professional standards. The industry needs greater accountability. Public awareness is also crucial. Families should be educated about their rights and the standards of care they can expect from funeral homes. This knowledge empowers them to make informed decisions and hold funeral homes accountable for any misconduct. Transparency is key to preventing abuse. The Richardson Mortuary case serves as a wake-up call for the funeral industry and regulatory bodies. It underscores the need for greater vigilance, stricter oversight, and a renewed commitment to upholding the dignity and respect of the deceased. The industry must prioritize ethical conduct and compassionate care. The horrors uncovered at Richardson Mortuary are a stark reminder of the potential for abuse and negligence within the funeral industry. The families affected deserve justice, and steps must be taken to prevent such tragedies from happening again. This case demands action, not just outrage. If you or someone you know has been affected by the events at Richardson Mortuary, or if you have concerns about the care provided by a funeral home, we urge you to take action. Contact the Texas Funeral Service Commission to file a complaint and report any suspected misconduct. Seek legal counsel to explore your options for pursuing justice and compensation. Share the story to raise awareness and demand accountability. Together, we can ensure that the deceased are treated with the dignity and respect they deserve, and that those who violate this trust are held responsible.